Good morning. Good morning. Give me a moment while I get everything set up. Mm. How are you this morning? And as you get here, make sure that you say hello. Let me know that you're here. And please say something in the comments and let me know that you're here. And maybe even where you are signing in from. Give me just another moment. All right, and one more thing to make sure that it is actually live and that you can see us. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right. Perfect. Okay. Excuse me. Well, how are you this morning? And like I said, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. And I'm going to go ahead and get started because this is the Monday motivation and it's the Monday before Christmas. So we're just a few days away from Christmas. And so got on my hat, my Christmas sweater, and I wanted to talk a little bit about gratitude, right? Because when it gets to this time of year, people are in the gratitude place, but then it also gets very commercial and it gets all about, you know, give me, gimme, right? Well, not all about, but that becomes a lot of it. And you can tell by the the different specials that are up and the commercials that you see on TV and the it's more it becomes more about what's the gift that you're going to give me or the gift that I can give you instead of loving the fact that you're alive and you can be grateful for so many things, right? And so I've got an affirmation and a journal prompt for today, but I'm going to say that in just a moment. But the thing that's, hold on, I got to make sure this thing is going. The thing that is really important for me as I'm talking about gratitude is that we've talked so many times about what we focus on and what we believe affect what we see, right? Like, for instance, my daughter got her a new car, and what is a Honda CRV, I think. I don't remember. But anyway, she was even making a statement, and it's happened to me before. She said, "This must be a very, very popular car because I see them everywhere now." But that's what happens to us. We get something new, we get this new revelation, and we'll see evidence of it everywhere. And that's what the algorithm does when we on any of the social medias that you click on one thing about an idea or a gift or anything like that, and then suddenly you're bombarded with all these ads and things, right? So it's the same kind of thing. It's like the universe, God, actually does the same thing. And that may be a little controversial to say, but hey, that's the truth. The thing is that all of these things are there all the time, right? Same with those ads. They're out there. They're just now focusing on us because we focused on something about that. And I've talked about this so many times, but there are 50 billion bits of information that are being coming at us all the time because every tiny thing that is around us, whether we see it or not, is emitting a frequency. It's an energy, right? Everything is energy. So if you're outside and you look at a tree, you can quickly look at the tree, see the leaves and everything, right? But you're not seeing everything because there's also like any little intricate pieces of bark on the tree, but you see it as a smooth surface, right? unless you're really, really close, but you can see it, right? But there's also little creatures, little ants and maybe bugs and everything that are on those trees that if you go up close and you focus, you can see them. Every actual leaf on the tree emits an energy. The veins in the leaf emit an energy. The shape of the leaf emits an energy. But when you look, you see a tree. Your brain would go crazy if when you looked at a tree, you saw every little detail. But because it's not important for where you are in that moment. Now, if you were a scientist that was studying trees, you'd probably see a lot more details, right? And the same thing happens when we're out and about and we're doing things. If because I've shared this analogy before, there can be two people in the back seat of a car going down the road. They can both be looking on the right side of the road. One person has a very optimistic outlook on life, and the other one has just their dog's just died and they are just really in a funk, right? Maybe they're always in a funk, but we're going to say their dog just died or something happened that made their energy a little bit lower. And so their focus was on things going wrong, right? The one person that has the things going wrong in their life, they're going to look outside the car and they're going to see every dilapidated house. They're going to see the dead animal on the side of the road. They're going to see the tree that looks like it's not healthy, the car that is either dirty or needs repair. Everything that they see is going to be something that is lacking. And then the person who feels very energetic in life and very optimistic in life, they're not going to see the dilapidated house. They're going to see, and it could be the exact same house, but they're going to see the way the light hits the house. They're going to see that they've got some kind of intricate little design somewhere. They're going to see a totally different thing. They may see right beside the dead bush is some flowers blooming. They don't see the dead bush, they see the flowers blooming. So they will see the things that support where they're mentally at in their life or in that moment, right? And that's the way life is. So that's why I'm saying this is the Monday before Christmas. And it's a beautiful time. Whether you're religious or not, it's a beautiful time because the air is fresher, right? Depending on where you're located in the world, it may be, a beautiful snow. It may be beautiful palm trees. It may be that it's warmer than expected. That's kind of the way it is here now. Of course, it's still kind of chilly, but for Christmas Day, we're expected to be in the mid 70s. So it'll be great, right? Except I will share. If it's ever going to be really cold, I want it to be on Christmas Day. But hey, I didn't put in my order in time, I guess. So there we are. But the thing is that when we can find a reason to be grateful, no matter what's going on, we can change the things that we see around us, the things that are there. Because what is happening around us, we do not control everything around us, right? But we do control what we focus on and what we see in the world. And for instance, I have a client that she is a very, very stressed person, And she watches the news all the time and complains about the things that are on the news and about being stressed. So I tell her all the time, I said, all the things that you're seeing, can you change anything? No. Does it immediately affect you? No. I said, then why are you putting yourself through that? But she has this compulsion to watch, right? And the thing that's interesting is, and I think I'm getting a little off topic, but hey, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go there. When we, like this, for instance, this person that I'm talking about, she's been doing this for a long time. She's been very stressed. She always watches the news. But our bodies become and our mind become addicted to whatever is going on. So if she tries to stop watching the news, she's going to get very anxious about that too, because she has gotten so accustomed, so addicted almost to the stress and the trauma that all of that brings. And it's very hard to just switch. And that's kind of where I come in a lot of times, to help people to be able to make that shift so that they can change the things about themselves, or the way that they live, that they want to be different, right? Even like someone who wants to drink less or smoke, stop smoking, or quit drinking. There's, lose weight, want to work out. There's all these things that we become addicted to, whatever the thing is that we're doing. There's a payoff in some way. And, when I do hypnosis, I go through a long list of questions to kind of get underneath the why, the what's going on, so that we can move past it. And so it's an amazing, amazing process. And I love doing it. The thing is that we can make a decision that we want to change, but it has to be something more, because otherwise it's not long lasting, right? There may be a few exceptions to that, but very few. Maybe they last a little longer. But wouldn't it be wonderful to decide that you're going to do things different? Now we're getting close to the first of the year. That's when everybody starts. Well, not everybody. I can't be that generalized, right? Most of the population creates all these affirmations and these intentions, this goals for their new year. And there's usually at least one thing we're not going to do anymore, or this new thing that we're going to start doing. And we have every intention in the world of that being true for us. And there's a reason why the gyms are full in January, and by February, March, they're very, very slim pickings in there, right? Because intention is great, but it doesn't last. So let me get to the affirmation, and you're going to kind of understand a little bit. Let me get it. Whoa, where are we? Well, before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and share one of my favorite meditations that I do. It's a walking meditation. And I don't not remember who I really got this from, but it was years ago. She had a YouTube channel and she had a walking meditation, and I loved it. And so I do this all the time just for myself. And so what you say as you're walking is, I am grateful for all the blessings in my life, for there are many. I am always supported by God, the universe. All of a sudden, the rest of it went out of my head. So, and I am grateful. Right. Thank you. So let me grab the, I should have written it down, I guess, because I usually say it all together when I'm walking. So what I do is I will walk and I will say this phrase, and then periodically I'll stop and I'll look at something like a tree, or something that has some color to it. It doesn't even matter what the color is. Like right now, it might be some Christmas decorations, right? But you stop and you just focus on something that feels beautiful in the moment. And then you say thank you. And then you keep walking. And periodically you'll stop. And then you might say, thank you for the blessings in my life, for there are many. There we go. So just walk and speak. And you can say it out loud, which I do most of the time, or you can say it to yourself. But for now, our affirmation is, I am deeply grateful for the many blessings flowing through my life. And remember, anything that comes after the words I am are ultra powerful. They hold so much power because you are claiming that that is true, right? And even if when you look for blessings, you feel a little despondent, well, I don't have that many blessings. And there's people that feel that way. And, granted, maybe that's partially true because maybe they've got this longing for a different life and it's not happening. But the thing is, remember, when what we focus on, we create, and our outer world reflects it. So even if you feel that it's not that great, there are things that you can feel grateful for. The first thing you can be grateful for every single day is that you opened your eyes, that you took another breath. I mean, how grateful can you be for that, right? And maybe you're a person that can see. You can be grateful that you opened your eyes and you can actually see things. Maybe you're a person that can hear. Be grateful that you have ears to hear because not everybody does. Be grateful, for instance, I was talking to my sister this morning, and we've got a close friend who is battling cancer right now. She's right now trying to find out if the stuff that she's doing is working well enough that they can do surgery. Well, they don't know yet, right? Now, what can she be grateful for, right? But when you think about that, she can be grateful that they do have all of these medicines available. But let's look at our lives. Maybe you're a person that's not like her, that is not battling cancer. Maybe you don't even know anyone that's battling cancer. So you can be ultra grateful that you have your health. One of the statements I said to my sister this morning, I said, so in view of that, as we were talking, I said, it seems kind of trivial to be thinking about, well, do I have enough money for this over here? Or do I have time to do this over here? So let's look at our lives and see, what do we have to be grateful for? And there are so many things if you take the time to look, right? So remember, our affirmation for today is very powerful, and it is, I am deeply grateful for the many blessings flowing through my life. Oof. And your brain, your subconscious mind is going to say yes. Because when you can find things that to be grateful for. So I remember I have a gratitude journal that I write in. And I remember when I first started writing in it, I hadn't been doing this kind of work much, right? So I decided, okay, so what am I grateful for? Well, my coffee's good. My coffee tastes good. I've got coffee. I love this cup. The sun's shining. And I was very basic with what I was grateful for. But at that time, that's all I could see, right? So open your heart and open your eyes to see, what can you be grateful for? What are you grateful for? And celebrate it. The more you celebrate the things that you're grateful for, the more things that will show up in your life for you to be grateful for. All right. So now let's get to our journal prompt. All right, our journal prompt is, where in my life can I already see evidence that I am supported? Even if it arrived quietly or in an unexpected form. Because normally it does, right? It does. It will show up and sometimes we don't even notice it for a while. That's why it's so important to do this affirmation and journal prompt in your special journal, your special notebook, with the date, the affirmation, and the journal prompt written down, and along with your answers. Because when we don't write it down, we forget. And it's like, for instance, it's been a few years ago, I was working with this coach, and we worked on a few different things for my personal life and in my business, right? Well, I had a notebook where I took notes and we worked on things, and then I would just kind of journal about stuff. And not too long ago, I found that journal and I'm looking at it and I'm realizing that the things that were top of my mind at that time are so different from where I am today. And just like me saying, when I first started doing this kind of thing, I was grateful for my coffee, my cup, the sun, you know, very superficial things because that's all I could see. So it's great to have a measuring stick of how far you've come. And I used to be very heavy, and the thing is that I can chastise myself now because I'd still like to drop maybe about 20 pounds now. Um, the thing is that if I look back how far I've come, and I don't even realize it still when I think back until I see a picture. When I see a picture, I think, damn, I have, you know, released a lot of weight and I look happier, I look healthier, even though I still are playing with this 20 pounds, right? But like I said, I remember being heavier. But even though I remember it, seeing the picture makes it like, whew, oh my gosh, I thought I remembered it, but not quite as well as I thought I did. So do yourself an amazing favor. And if you haven't already, get a journal, get a notebook, and start making daily logs in there. If you can do daily or once a week, we do this once a week. I do know that there are people in this group that actually will have a notebook that they write in every week. And of course, in the beginning, we did this every day. The thing is that it's important to be writing it down because our memories are so elusive and so bendable as far as what we remember to be true. So it's important, right? So what I always recommend is for you to have, like I said, the notebook, the journal, put the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, and then after you've written it down, you just sit everything down, and then you set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And you just take a breath. You take a lot of breaths, right? But you focus on your breath. And the reason we do that is because our God voice, our subconscious mind, is always giving us amazing information that we don't hear because we are so busy with all of the external things. So you take 10 to 15 minutes, you focus on your breath to bring you into the present moment. You just breathe in, breathe out, you can count them, and you're going to find, especially in the beginning, that your mind still wanders like crazy. And that's okay. As soon as you recognize that you're focused on what's for dinner today, or what are you getting somebody's gift, or what are you doing for Christmas, whatever those thoughts are, you just kind of bring it back to the present, focusing on your breath. And sometimes, I'll be honest, I can have a hard time with staying focused on the moment too. And so then I will pick out sounds that I hear around me and I will name them, like the hum of my computer, the dog moving around over there, somebody mowing their lawn, somebody weed eating, whatever it is, whatever the sounds are that you hear. Like I just heard a car go by. So the reason that that works is because you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So as you bring it back into labeling whatever you hear, you're going to be back in the present moment. And because you don't have to be sitting there with your 10 to 15 minutes and going round and round and round of what this chanting, whatever it is that you're thinking about, right? That's not what you do. I mean, if you wanted to, you could, but your subconscious mind is so powerful that it's thinking about it the whole time that you're doing something else. And then when the timer goes off, you pick up your pen, you pick up your pencil, and you just start writing. You just brain dump everything that comes up. Where in my life can I already see evidence that I am supported, even if it arrived quietly or in an unexpected form? And just write. And you don't critique it. You don't prejudge. Just write down whatever shows up in your mind. Even if it sounds ridiculous, it sounds like it's not true, if it sounds like, well, that's just stupid, that's not real, write down whatever shows up because there's a reason it's there. Sometimes our subconscious mind is speaking in code, and you don't get it if you don't write everything down. So just write. Pour your heart out. And if it feels like you're done, then just take a couple of deep breaths and try it again. And just write and write. Because the more writing that you do in this process, the better things will be. Remember, we talked just a few moments ago about what we're grateful for expands, right? What we feel expands. What we notice changes depending on how we're feeling in our heart and what we're actually vibrating out. So gratitude is ultra powerful. So give it a go, right? What can you be grateful for in this very second? Maybe it's for being here. Maybe it's for having an electronic system that allows you to be here. For me, it's one of the grateful things I'm for is I always have a really cool cup and I always have really good coffee. So I'm always grateful for those things. But years ago, when I first started that was the main thing I was grateful for. Oh, and life is so much more delicious since then. Like I said, the more gratitude you can find in your world, in your heart, in your mind, the more you have to be grateful for. And today is the Monday before Christmas. And I am wishing you the most gratitude-filled life that expands greater than anything you ever imagined. And with that, have a blessed day and an amazing holiday. Mwah.